Hey guys, this is Britt and Sam back with Sweet and Sour Comics after about a 2-month layoff. Since we've been gone, we have gotten a lot of books that we're going to be going through. Probably going to break this up into 2, maybe even 3 videos. Good stuff on the way. Can't wait to show you guys. So, we went to garage sales, antique shops, bought stuff off Whatnot, went to eBay, went to our local comic book shops, and even some private vendors since we've been gone. Biggest reason why we've been gone is my 14-year-old son, who is the producer and director of this program, was playing football this year, and they ended up winning their championship in their league for the 2nd year in a row. So give Sam a little shout out and a congratulations. And like we said before, we have so many books of X-Men and Uncanny X-Men and Amazing Spider-Man and Web of Spider-Man and X-Men and some books from the 60s and early 70s that we just liked the art on them. So we got those books. So we're going to be splitting these up definitely into a couple shows. So we're going to save some of this Silver Age and early Bronze Age goodness from Amazing Spider-Man for our next show. But here's a little preview right there. Little Gwen Stacy first cover issue preview action. And then we're going to take these Bronzies and some modern X-Men, Uncanny X-Men books, and we're going to save these for the next show too. And I'm thinking, these are all just a bunch of X-Men fillers from Volume 2. I'm just doing it because I want to round out the collection. Right now I got about half of that series, and so we'll save those for the next show. We might not even show them all, but that's okay, because that's what comic book collecting is all about. Sometimes you show the stuff, sometimes you don't. Sometimes things just kind of show up in your long box. Who knows? All right, so the first set of comics we're going to talk about is from a garage sale that we went to just last weekend. This guy sold, like 5,000 comic books. Most of them, I would say, were from the Bronze Age, but he had quite a nice little selection of Silver Age stuff too. Thing that really got Sam and I going was some of those early Silver Surfer issues. He had issue 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 14, etc. for Silver Surfer. So that was one of the big things, and we all know that the iconic cover for Silver Surfer number 4 is Thor battling the Silver Surfer on the Rainbow Bridge with Asgard way in the background. It's a fantastic cover. It's a low print run. And when we saw it, the guy said it was only like a 0.5. We didn't know how much it would be. So we talked to the guy for like 2 weeks about this because he had to delay one day because of like the weather was really bad here in Omaha and Lincoln. And then the next weekend was actually pretty nice, in the 50s, I think it was. So he says, hey, everything is in order. It's alphabetized. I've got it grouped, by the distributor, which would be like Marvel, DC, Vertigo, Image, Dark Horse, that kind of thing. And so we immediately find them. We actually got up. The garage sale started at 7 in the morning. And Sam and I got up at 5 in the morning in Omaha, drove to Lincoln, sat there for about 30 minutes. And while we were there, some other cars started showing up. And it was like, oh, there's our, if you want to say competitors, if you will. And so we said to ourselves, okay, we gotta go and find books that we're searching for right away. And the first thing that I wanted to find, because he didn't really have a lot of old X-Men, seeing that I have almost that whole first run, I wanted to get those Silver Surfers. So I immediately found the Marvel section and I start searching, and I'm not going to say my horror, but to my horror, the stuff was not in alphabetical order per se, but it was grouped more per like hero genre, which would be like the Web of Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, Spider-Man. They would all be in one group. They were in their own section, but all in one group. And so the worst part of this whole thing is that Sam and I both barely missed the section where Silver Surfer was at when we were looking for it. Just didn't see it. And I don't like to be mean because, we're all kind of nerdy at heart. I thoroughly admit I'm a comic book nerd. I love comic books, and I'd love them even more now that I'm exploring even more of the 50s and the 60s and the early 70s stuff. But this guy runs up, finds the Silver Surfer, literally grabs number 4, which is the iconic Thor and Silver Surfer, and then what is it, 14?
Yeah, like
which was the
Spider-Man.
Yeah, first appearance of Spider-Man in the Silver Surfer, kind of a crossover thing. And the thing, it kind of chapped my hide a little bit that I didn't get it. It is what it is. That's part of comic book collecting. What really kind of chapped me though is you could just kind of tell that this guy was there. And it felt like this. Maybe I read it wrong because I was just a little upset, but it felt like he was just going to flip the book. The book was legitimately a 1 in the grade. It wasn't in great shape. The whole cover was there, had a few creases in it, color break creases. Biggest thing was it had Scotch tape all up and down the spine. You really couldn't see it on the front. I only saw it because the guy didn't back his old books with boards. So I saw when the guy flipped the book over, I saw that it was all taped up on the spine. But it's still a 1. And a 1 for those books, typically, as I've seen in the going price, at least from eBay, has been like $150, $200. That's pretty pricey for something like that. This guy was asking $4. $4 for this book. And the thing is this guy at the garage sale knew exactly what he had, because he had, which Amazing Spider-Man was that? 20, which is first appearance of Scorpion. And he was asking a couple $100 for that. And it was worth, I think, every penny of that and probably another 200 over that. So he was given good prices for the stuff that he had. He knew exactly what he had, and he even stated in his ad that he was selling stuff really cheap. But that being said, we still got a few good issues, and Sam did get an issue that he wanted. So we're going to do that issue first, and he's actually been looking for this for a while. We left the price on this one and on all the other books that we got at this garage sale. And it would be the Iron Man and Submariner one-shot. Fantastic cover from the 1960s. It almost just epitomizes, I think, some of those superhero team-ups of the 60s. This was, what, 1967 or 8? 1967, which was right before Marvel was able to gain a different distributor for their distribution rights, and they were able to do more comic book titles in '68. So this was kind of one of those cool, I'm not going to say the last time they did, like one of these 2 superhero books, but I think it's one of the coolest. And Sam got it for a price of $8, which was just an amazing deal, I think, in my mind. I think it's probably, in the condition that it's in, personal opinion, probably a solid 2, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't go any higher than that. Maybe if you cleaned it might get to a 2.5. And like I always like to say, on a good day, maybe a 3. But a solid 2. It's a good book. and it's got our favorite little artist on the back that we always see on those ads. Since we just got these books, we just haven't had a chance to get to our local comic book shop and get some boards for them, but we'll have those in boards pretty quickly because I don't like the books without the boards. We did manage to get a Silver Surfer #2, but this won't be in our collection for very long. We ended up getting a book from a private collector this weekend, the day after the garage sale. It was a book that Sam wanted. It's a Spider-Man Deadpool team up, and you'll see that later on. And this guy just happened to be a Silver Surfer collector, and he liked anything. And we told him that we picked this book up, and honestly, I don't necessarily like trading books like this that quickly, but beyond some of those iconic art covers, like for Silver Surfer in the 60s, it's not going to kill me to part with this, and I know I can find another one of these for a relatively good price. So the next book that we got was Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #3. I got this for 50 cents. So this guy must have bought all these books from the guy that was selling them at the garage sale, from the same collector, because after I bought this book, because I got it so early, it didn't have really good light, I realized that this spine was taped too. The only reason why I got this cover and this book was because it's a Steranko cover. And I love his art. I think his art is neat. I think it's revolutionary. I jokingly said to Sam, I said, this guy must have been on acid when he did these books. Because if you actually look at the inside, because he also did some of the storyboards or storylines, they're kind of nuts at times. But I love his art. I think he is just one of the best artists from the 60s. Some people may debate that, but I like it because it's just so different. So, and then another book that we got from this guy was Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. #5. And again, got it because it's another Steranko cover. I actually think that this cover is not as good as #3, but the interior art of the book, pretty good. It stands up to the #3 issue also. So, and I got this one, I think, for, what is it? $2, $3?
$3.
And, they're not in the best condition, but the covers overall, you know what the books are. They're pretty cool. So, I figure for $3, $4 total for 2 Steranko covers, I'm good with that. That's not too bad. So, all right. So, like I said before, the next day, Sam was, and I both are still a little bent about that Silver Surfer #4. We just have to keep telling ourselves there'll be another one. There'll be another one. There'll always be another one. But that one still hurts a little bit, But again, the next day, Sunday, we decided, we talked to this guy. We saw this ad. Sam said we should talk to this guy. We found out that he was in Omaha. He had a couple of hours to burn on Sunday. I'm going to just give him a shout out. His name is Jesse Coggins. Super cool dude. He's a younger guy, probably mid-20s. And he got into collecting books, and he wants to be kind of a collector / seller. So he does it kind of privately through Facebook, which is fine. This is the book. This is how trusting this guy is. But, we just read each other right, so we know that we're probably going to have a good partnership as far as us buying and sometimes trading with him and selling to him, vice versa. But this is the book that we're going to give him. He's on a trip right now, and as soon as he gets back, we're giving him that Silver Surfer. But Sam traded for this Deadpool and Spider-Man #1. I don't know what era is this from. This is modern era, obviously, but
it's from 2017.
Okay, so it's 5-6 years old. Super cool cover. Again, because we just got the books, haven't been able to read them yet. A lot of these books I might not get to for a while because I have to work. Sam, hey, in the summer, he's going to have a little more time than me. But super cool art in my, I love the artwork. And even this modern stuff isn't too bad. Even though I'm more of a 70s, 80s, 90 kid. And but it's cool. Look at that. That's just Spider-Man and Deadpool in a nutshell. I think it's a pretty neat little cover. Do you know who the artist is on that? I know we have.
No. Probably one of the guys on the top left corner.
Well, I could probably open it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. It's in really nice shape. I probably won't be able to read it because I don't have my glasses on. That's the hard part of getting old.
Here, let me see.
Oh, that's a nice splash page. Look at that. Ooh.
Here, let me see.
They don't really even... He'll figure it out. It's one of the guys on the cover, but they don't have a... They don't have a block where they typically acknowledge people on the inside. Really weird. Well, we'll figure that out, and maybe we'll get back to you on that at a later time.
I think it's probably Ed McGuinness. I think he's an artist.
Let me see. It's a fantastic little book. We'll put that back in the cover in a minute. So then, Sam, we went through his dollar bin and $3 bin, and these are some of the books that we picked up. Web of Spider-Man 72, which is a really neat cover. And Web of Spider-Man 126, The Trial of Peter Parker. I kind of like this cover. It reminds me, I don't know, of this looks like a Ramada cover. Yep, it is. John Ramada Jr., which is amazing because I was not a huge fan of Ramada Jr. With the X-Men run, but I actually picked it out just looking at the hands and the face. That actually looks a lot like the Wolverine he used to draw. Then we got this issue for $1 also.
$3.
$3. And what was this significance? Because I was never a Wolverine collector. I like Wolverine, just never got into a series back in the 80s and 90s.
Origin of Weapon X.
So pretty cool. And oh gosh, I can't remember for the life of me who this artist is either. But he did some work in the regular X-Men series, and that was a pretty cool run. I always liked his art. He also did, I gotta open it up and see. I know some of you guys would be like, dude, it's this guy. But Barry Windsor Smith, of course, Barry Windsor Smith. So Barry Windsor Smith did, like I said, Volume 2 of The Machine Man, which is one of my favorite series. I got that off the rack in the 80s, and maybe I'll show that to you guys someday. He also did, like I said, some of the X-Men stuff. And he kind of has those muted drawings. It's not as clean as some guys' stuff, but it's just kind of a neat way of drawing, I always thought. And then, depending on who his colorist was, it could really enhance his art. And I like Barry. He's not too bad. So, $3 rack again. Mm-hmm. So, $3 book, which was, good Lord, no, number 23? No?
It's a Spider-Man, it's 40-something.
Here, I can't read. I'm sorry, guys.
65.
Oh, Spider-Man 65. Again, these are just some fillers that we were getting. And then Sam decided he wanted to sneak a few DCs in here. More than anything, you know what? I got to tell you, I like Dr. Fate, too. That is a cool cover. The Return of Dr. Fate. This is just from the price. This is probably a late 90s, early to late 90s book for $1.25.
80s.
So, oh, he says 80s. He's probably right. And then out of nowhere, so Jesse also has a ton, and I mean a ton of Green Lantern from the Silver Age and the Bronze Age too, but a lot of Silver Age. He said he picked up literally almost an entire run of, I think it would be volume 2 of the Green Lantern. It's not the 1940s, 50s version. It's Hal Jordan, the 1960s version. But he sold some of those books off, but he's got a ton of them left, and he's actually having a little bit of a hard time selling them. So he's on Facebook all the time. So if you guys are out there and you want some old Green Lantern, and they're in pretty decent shape too, look on Facebook in Omaha. Give this guy a call or give this guy a drop on a message, and I bet he'd be willing to make a deal on it. So when Sam came out with this $3 Green Lantern, I'm like, why did you get this? Because Sam's really good at spotting keys and knowing keys. And you know what he said? He goes, just because I thought the cover was cool. Just because I thought the cover was cool. And I said, you know what? Cover's pretty cool, Sam. I liked it. Little 12-cent Green Lantern from the 1960s. So then he got a key issue of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It was the wrap-up of the series. It was issue number 12, which is really funny because I have almost this whole run in some boxes somewhere in the house, but I know I have this, and he's seen this before. But this is the first appearance of Wally West as the Flash, right?
I think that's just first Wally West.
Or it might just be the first Wally West. But so either way, it's a minor key.
It's a major key.
Oh, is it a major key? I'm sorry. I'm not a DC nerd at all. So it's a major key. Honestly, I did like this series when I was a kid, and it was, and I know this is going to be blasphemy. In my opinion, I thought this was better than Secret Wars. I thought Crisis on Infinite Earths was way better than Secret Wars. Don't slap me, Marvel guys. It's just my personal opinion because I am actually a Marvel guy. But I think that was a really good series. So I think our little crowning achievement, I've said it before in some of my other videos. I love the old Thors. And we picked up Thor 150. Nice first appearance of Hela on the cover. On the cover. $45. It was a little steep, but I think it was worth it. Has a little bit of a condition issue down here. Not the white part, but there's just a little chip out of the cover right there. But fortunately, it's in the white part, so it's hard to see at all. Little bit of chipping right here, and just a couple of little marks here and there, but love this cover. And I've always loved the character Hela. I actually don't know a lot about the storylines. I just like the way the character's drawn, and she's a pretty evil looking chick all the time. So I want to, again, shout out to Jesse. There's a couple more issues spread through here that we got from him for super, super cheap. He's a really reasonable guy, willing to trade, willing to buy, willing to sell, obviously. So, again, shout out to him. We'll be doing more business with him in the future. And then now on to the next books. All right, we've got a real treat for you. We got their producer and director coming in from behind the camera because he knows so much more about Amazing Spider-Man. This is my son, Sam DeWeese.
Yep. Okay.
So first issue is what, Sam?
Amazing Spider-Man 196. This is in really good shape, and we got it at Legends. They just opened their new store, and in the next video, we got a lot of more Silver Age stuff for really cheap, and one really big Bronze Age key. So you better go check out that when it comes out. And the next one that we got is 216, which is the second appearance of Madam Web. Madam Web appeared in Amazing Spider-Man 170, so it's pretty interesting that she appeared
Yeah, that's
46 issues later.
which is like 4 years.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking because you'll know this. That was just one issue she was in her first appearance, or was it like
it was just one issue that she was in?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
About 4 years later, that's nuts. All right.
And then the next book is Amazing Spider-Man 218, which is the second Mudman, who's just like creationist Sandman and Hydro Man.
Kind of a minor
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, very minor, not really expensive. And then the next book is Amazing Spider-Man 228, which is just a filler issue.
And these are all Bronze Age books, right?
Yeah.
40, 50, 60 centers kind of thing.
Yeah. And then the next one, which is a really good cover, Amazing Spider-Man 230. This is the second part to a battle with the Juggernaut. In Amazing Spider-Man 229 is the first part, and these can get pretty pricey, but we got them for a pretty good price on Whatnot. So that's pretty good. We got most of these in this little section as a bundle for really, really cheap. And starting again, 231, fighting the Cobra. Just some random villain.
Spider-Man has like 9,000 villains, and Sam and I have a good chuckle over that. We saw another content creator talking about that, like, why does this guy have so many more villains? And I looked at Sam and kind of laughed, and I said, maybe because he had 4 titles in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and he was their flagship superhero. So he's going to have a lot of guys to fight.
If he makes the most money, then keep putting random villains in there.
Yep. Who is that?
I don't know. Just some...
We haven't been able to look at all of them yet, and like I said, Sam, when did I pick these up, I think, on Whatnot? So one day I was at work or waiting for one of my sons or something, and I got on Whatnot, and this guy was selling a bunch of bundles of Spider-Man, and I tried getting a few bundles and got outbid on some, and then I ended up getting these. And I don't want to say they're fillers, but they're kind of fillers, but that's okay.
Yeah, they're fillers.
Because even fillers for Spider-Man, for some reason, are expensive. It's just Amazing Spider-Man, that is, not just the flagship title.
Yeah.
So,
and that was 232, right after the previous one. And then a little gap, we have 235, which is the first appearance of Tarantula. Not the tarantula that, like, wears the red and the...
Has the pointy...
Yeah, the red and the black. This is this tarantula, which is a disgusting guy. That's why it says the new deadly tarantula, because it's not the same guy. And then...
Is it the same... It's not the same guy at all?
No.
Okay.
It's just a new villain. Then another little gap. Amazing Spider-Man 240, Wings of Vengeance. I really like this cover. It's pretty dynamic. I like the Spider-Man, Vulture ominously in the front. It's pretty cool. And then this is a minor key, or this is kind of a major key, actually. This is Amazing Spider-Man 258. This is when Reed Richards finds out that the symbiote suit is an alien. And this is a really important story to the Spider-Man, like, history.
Yeah.
Because this started the end of the symbiote saga and really just, like, Spider-Man for, like, the next 30 years.
And it was sort of in its own way. I mean, I'm not saying the beginning, but, like, the beginning of the Venom saga, if you will. I mean, he didn't have a name yet, right?
Venom didn't appear till...
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have a name yet or anything, but that was kind of like, oh. And I like this cover in particular because, to me, it feels like Peter Parker is drowning in himself. You know what I mean? Like, he can't decide what he wants to be.
Yeah.
Does he want to be in the red suit, blue, the red and blue suit? Does he want to be in the black suit?
That's what, like, this whole story is about, actually.
Yeah.
Most of it doesn't really take place in, like, the actual, like, world. Most of it takes place in, like, his own mind.
His own mind.
Where he's trying to choose between being the black suit or going back to being the old little kid he was in high school and wearing the red and blue.
That book's actually in really good shape now that I'm looking at it. I mean, obviously, I haven't personally taken it out. It's got a little bit of foxing. It's what, 30 years old-ish?
40.
Almost 40 years old. A little bit of foxing, but the pages beyond that, like past, about a quarter inch of that foxing all the way around, they're pretty white actually, and it's in pretty decent shape overall.
Yeah, 1984.
Yeah, almost 40 years old. I was telling Sam today, I said, I can't believe that I was looking at a auction online today, and I said, they're calling 30-year-old comics like comics from the 90s vintage comics. And I said, Sam, that makes me feel really, really old. I said, because I remember pulling a lot of these books off the rack, and so I don't know. It's kind of funny in its own way, but I said, I guess they are vintage now. So.
Yep. And following up that statement, another 40-year-old comic, Amazing Spider-Man 264. This is the first Red 9, who's just one and done character, but they count it as a minor key. So
is he a superhero or a villain?
He's a villain, I think.
A villain, okay.
He kind of looks like a superhero, but I think he's a villain.
Gotcha.
Then this is a really nice cover. This is Amazing Spider-Man 267. And I'll take these down.
See, I think Sam has a little more vibrance when it comes to talking about Amazing Spider-Mans compared to me.
And this is Amazing Spider-Man 267, When the Commuter Comes. Or when cometh the commuter. And there's another cover which is basically like the same thing, but he's in the black suit and the commuter is like all destroyed. And I think that comes earlier, which is, I thought this one would come earlier, but I guess not. Yeah, this one's pretty cool. And then a big gap because we got, I got this one.
No. Sorry, we got a cat in the background. Hey, cat.
And now, this is Amazing Spider-Man 333. This is Eric Larson, who did this artwork. He was the next artist up after Tom McFarlane finished his run with Amazing Spider-Man, which ended in the 320s. And then
uh-oh, we might have some technical difficulties here.
And then this is a major key. And we picked this up at that garage sale that we were talking about on...
Just pull them forward. Just come here, Chippy Chip. Sorry, fellas.
Come here.
All right, that's Chip. He's messing with stuff. So.
And we picked this one up at that garage sale, like I was saying, for $7, which is a pretty good price for the first Miguel O'Hara Spider-Man 2099. But I have his actual first appearance, which is Spider-Man 2099 issue 1. But this is like a preview to that book, so that's why they count it as
his first appearance. Interesting.
And this one's never been read, and I don't know if I want to read it because it's in really good shape.
Yep, we took it out of the bag, and it's a really thick book, right?
Yeah.
And the spine and the cover is really thick. And I said, Sam, there's no marks or anything on this spine. I said, there's no way anybody's ever read this book. I said, there's just no way. So we put it right back in the bag and we haven't touched it. So I might end up finding him a red copy so he can read that one and we can just keep this one as pristine as possible. So.
And then 4 issues after that one, Amazing Spider-Man 369. Seems like he battles the Spider Slayers once again. Can't even count how many of those are. That must be like the
3
Mark 12 or something. And he also fights Electro. So that was probably a pretty cool battle. It's going to be nice to read in about 8 years. So Yeah.
Because he's still kind of refusing to read some of them.
I like to go in order.
He likes to go in order, so it's going to take a while.
And then we've seen this one on the channel before, Amazing Spider-Man 375. This is my third copy of Amazing Spider-Man 375.
And whose fault is that?
Not mine.
I keep buying them because I'm an idiot sometimes, but maybe it just jumps out at me because I think it's a cool cover. But look what we got with it.
Yeah, but we also got
This little free Amazing Fantasies trading card.
And in 1990, the price guide, $2,800 near mint. Wow. Wish I could find one of those for that cheap.
In 1990.
But that won't happen. So,
Not in this day and age.
It's always nice to have a third Amazing Spider-Man 375. If you're looking for one of those, I have 3 of them. So
He's willing to part with one.
Or 2.
Maybe 2.
And then the last book we got from...
It was that Jesse, right?
Yeah, the Jesse guy. Amazing Spider-Man 403. This is the earliest one from the original one, or like the latest one from the original run that I have. And it's a really cool cover with Venom.
Hasn't read it yet, which is fine.
And
No big deal, but it is a cool cover. As soon as I saw that, I was like, is that Venom or Carnage? I don't...
Oh, it's Carnage, not Venom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's the red guys.
And then there's also Shriek and Vermin.
Yeah, and Sam still... Every time we go into Legends, they have an issue of the first appearance of Carnage, which I had, and sold all 10 copies right before Sam says, I want to collect Amazing Spider-Man.
That was a sad day.
So I get reminded every once in a blue moon, like every time we go into Legends, hey, didn't you have 10 of those and now they're all gone? And that one's $150.
Yep.
Yep. Sure is. So he'll have it again someday, I'm sure.
Someday. That won't be soon.
Yeah, you never know.
Christmas is coming.
Christmas is coming.
And, well, you really should see the next video because where are those Amazing Spider-Man?
I put them down low.
Let me see if that one's... Oh, yep, that one is in that pile. Yeah,
Major key.
couple major keys in there.
Yep.
So
big keys. So.
And if you were being a keen viewer, you would notice that these were all in order. So think back from the first issue we showed, which was
196.
196. Every issue in the next video will be before 196, and it gets pretty early.
Yep. We got some pretty early silver 12 centers, some 15 centers. I don't know if 25, 20 centers.
Yeah.
Those 100 early 100s. Yeah, early 100s, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're going to stop here for the night because it is getting late and it is a school night and I have to work tomorrow. But as a little shout out here because you know that I'm obviously the big X-Men and X-Titles collector. I am a whopping 14 issues now away from having the entire run.
Did you get more?
No. Maybe. I'm 14 issues away. So the latest issue I need now is issue 100. And then everything else is under that.
I'll have to see which ones you got.
So it's getting to be few and far between, and as I've told Sam, I said I think the 1 through 4 is obviously going to be a little difficult to get. 14 will be difficult to get, but the other 9 issues I think I can clip off pretty easily within the next 6 months. So I'll get those. They'll probably just be good readers. You know, nothing like 8s or 9s or whatever, because that's a lot of money. And I'm putting kids through school, and I like the stories more than anything, and
Yeah.
as long as I can look at the covers and they look good, that's what's important to me. So,
And that means there's more Amazing Spider-Man that I can get. So.
oh yeah,
When he's done with X-Men.
yeah, pretty much. So, and he is slowly but surely whittling away on me, and I am starting to like Amazing Spider-Man more and more. I like the stories. I don't think he knows that I read, and you'll see it next. Here's another little preview. What was that guy called? The Gibbon?
Oh yeah,
We have the first appearance of the Gibbon, so there's a little
and his second appearance, and we got those for cheap.
cheap.
That's
So,
why you need to go to Legends if you're in Nebraska.
Yep,
Their
Legends
books
is the
are
place to go.
cheap.
And like we've said before, we helped move their stock into this new building. 350,000 comic
Yeah.
books they had that were unsorted.
Yeah.
That was unsorted when they moved in. They had already probably 20 to 30,000 that were already sorted and that come out on a regular basis. But they are finding stuff all the time in their collection. They're going through it on a daily basis and getting stuff in order, that they just haven't been able to do for a while because of where they were located. But it's incredible, and every time we go in there, they have something new. They got a Daredevil #1 in a slab
For $2,500 at a 2.5.
which is a really good price, actually.
Yeah.
They've got all kinds of stuff.
They got first Moon Knight, first
Yep.
Prowler, first Miles Morales. They have like 4 of those, so
Yep.
if you want that, just go there.
A few Amazing Spider-Man 300s.
First, Jason Todd, like after he came back, I forgot what his name is.
Oh, Red
yeah,
Hood. No.
Red Hood.
Is it Red Hood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the first Red Hood. They have the first Carnage. They have the first Darkseid. First Jack Kirby
Which
on DCR.
Which is really funny because what's the first Darkseid? It's like the New Gods or something like that.
It's like
I have the Forever People.
Yeah,
The Forever People. I have no idea who these books are because I like a few of the DC titles, but not very many. And Sam, Encyclopedia Sam over here, who really does, he's good at the keys. And especially all these keys he's good at. He looked up and goes, "Oh, that's the first Darkseid." I'm like, "In the Forever People?" And then him and one of the shop workers there just started talking back and forth about how the Forever People are like the opposite of Darkseid's people, and they just got into that discussion, and I was just lost, but I was amazed at the same time because this kid knows so much about comics. And then what was the New Gods?
The New Gods,
which was Kirby's first book
on DC.
And they had New Gods #1. And what was really funny to me is how, I don't know the name of the character, but whoever was on the front cover looked a lot like Galactus to me, just in a different color of uniform. It was really kind of funny. But anyways, though, so we're going to wrap it up for tonight. This is Britton DeWeese. That's Sam DeWeese.
Yeah.
I finally got him out from behind the camera. He did an awesome job tonight. I think he did better than me. I hope he does it a few more times. He's much better at Amazing Spider-Man than me. I know this was a long video for part 1, but we just had so many books that we got while we were gone. And we're going to really try hard not to have gaps like that again. Please stay. Please subscribe. Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram.
Instagram, and we're also, what else are we on? Or is it just Instagram?
Just Instagram.
Okay, so please go and subscribe to Instagram as well. Like I said, I haven't been here for, a while, so I forget these things. I leave it to the director and producer to keep these things in check for me. So, but I guarantee we'll continue to get more books. I bet we get more books this weekend. Not very many, but we've got some other ones, or maybe we will.
Probably a lot.
Yeah, but my books are cheap. His are the expensive ones. So
Not that expensive. They're only like $30 a pop.
So let's put this in perspective. For his $30 a pop for Amazing Spider-Man, I can get 15 to 20 like X-Men, X-Factor, X-Force.
That's just lucky.
Yeah. Well, it was what I like to collect, so.
Should have collected Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, I get told that a lot too. He goes, "I wish you would have collected Spider-Man back in the day," and I was like, "Well, I wish I would have collected Amazing Spider-Man too. If I would have known, I would have had a son that liked it so much." So
Or that it's way more valuable.
yeah,
You know, like 238. You probably saw that one on the stand.
I did. It's crazy.
First Hobgoblin.
Crazy prices.
Do you remember that? Do you remember seeing that one?
I did. Yeah, I saw it. I do. I remember it. It's crazy. All right, guys. Signing off. We're gonna do another video here in the next couple of days, and it'll be part 2. So
Yep.
have a nice.